Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Nicole Malinowski, and I'm the principal here at Cumberland Valley High School. I'm very excited to welcome you, the family and students of the class of 2025. Over the last year, our district has been planning to open a ninth grade academy called CV9, and we cannot wait until August to open our doors. We know that the program and planning that we have set forth is set in research, and we know that your students are going to have an amazing experience at our CV9 Academy next year. We recognize that ninth grade is a difficult transition year, but we know that everything that we have to offer at CV9 next year is going to help each and every one of our students. Those of us who are in business know that it's the people who make the difference. And when selecting our administrative staff as well as every individual at CV9, selecting the right individuals was a top priority for us. I've been in education for over 20 years, and I can tell you that just in my short time here working with Mr. Martin, who's going to be the principal at CV9, and Mrs. Stainton, who's going to be the grade level principal at CV9, they are top-notch individuals who will take care of each and every student who will walk in that door. And in addition to them, the entire staff that we have placed in that building is amazing, and we know that your students are going to have a great experience there. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this program over to Mr. Martin, and he is going to greet you. As the principal at Cumberland Valley High School, please know that my door is always open, and I cannot wait to see your students here in our 10 to 12 building in 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. I'm really happy that you guys came. It's really nice to see faces and actually talk to adults. We don't get to do that too much anymore, but we're getting there. I'm Mr. Martin, and I'm really super excited about this opportunity, and hopefully your kids have shared some things that we've talked to them about. We met with everybody. We met at Eagle View, Mountain View, and all the kids in Virtual Academy by way of Zoom. And Mrs. Staten and I talked with them and gave them some information and updates about CV9 and what we're all about. So did they talk to you at all about that a little bit? Yeah, good. They're still talking to you. That's good. That's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share a little bit of that with you, and then really tonight is about your schedule, your student's schedule, and what the process is. That's really important. So this is the agenda a little bit up there. You can see we're going to do some introductions, which we started. We're going to give you an overview of the scheduling process, talk a little bit about what CV9 is about and the supports that we're putting in place, and the course selection process, what the scheduling timeline is, and then you guys, we're going to give you time to have breakouts to talk to our department leaders. So we try to keep this presentation short enough so you can have time to ask your questions, because most of you probably, you're here for a reason, because you want to know some things. Again, Mrs. Staten and I will be the principals at the building, and then our counselors, Ms. McGuire and Ms. Bayshore, are here, and they're going to present some information to you, so you'll get to meet them, see who they are, which will be nice, and they're going to share really good information for you, and they do a great job. One of the things tonight I talked a little bit about is there's the overview of the scheduling process, and that's kind of like the list of things that we're going to talk about. And then the presentation shouldn't take too long, and then we'll have breakouts. All right, so this is what the bell schedule looks like. Hopefully you guys can see that from where you're sitting. It's a 7-period day. We end every day in like a period 8 day, which is going to be called Eagle Academy. I'll talk a little more about that. There's 3 lunches, and so basically a 7-period day, and then there's where we're going to add support with Eagle Academy. The day starts at 7:35, and it'll end at 2:35, and that's important to know because we're ending a little early. 20 minutes earlier before the high school, because we're going to have activity buses so the kids can, if they're participating in, if they choose to participate in high school clubs, or they're involved in athletics, or maybe the musical or other extracurricular activities, they're going to have access to get to the high school. And then if you can't pick them up, we also have activity buses that leave at the end of the day. And all that information we'll relay to you so that you understand what exactly is happening. So even though we're only about 6 miles away, I mean, it would be nice if we were a little closer. I totally get it. But we're working with what we have. And we're still going to do everything we can to make it as normal as possible, as if they're part of the high school. I'm super excited about the 9th grade academy because I think it's really good for kids. It's really going to help them feel safe, have a nice environment, and kids aren't going to slip through the cracks. We're going to be able to pay attention to everyone's needs. And I will say that I'll flip over here. One of the things that I think is super important is what Dr. Malinowski talked about was the people. And the staff that we have coming, they're outstanding. I mean, we have outstanding people that are still at the high school, but the 9th grade, the teachers that are coming, they are excited about being in the 9th grade building, and they believe in what we're doing at the academy. So that's exciting. So you're going to have a smaller environment, and then we're going to talk about some of these additional supports right here. So this slide here, Eagle Academy basically is during that 30-minute period every day, there's 3 main focuses. And the first focus is the academic days. So they'll have the same advisor, teacher every period that's going to help them, whether that period of time is for them to get additional help, make up tests, extra opportunities to maybe work on a project. If they're having trouble in math, they may go find their math teacher to get help, or maybe they need some help in English, whatever. We're working through that schedule. Like Mrs. Day and I are dedicated to making that schedule really work, where the kids feel that they're having a lot of support. And within that Eagle Academy time, there's going to be, every kid is going to get a course that's called Freshman Seminar. And Freshman Seminar is really just an opportunity, it's a curriculum that we're going to, that every teacher is going to teach the lessons and the whole building is going to know what we're teaching, and these are executive functioning skills, note-taking strategies, study strategies, things that are really going to help the kids. Like, all kids need this. So they're going to be taught along with some social-emotional learning. And we're really super excited about that. And through this process, we're actually looking at making some positive changes with the high school. And then the last piece here is it's opportunity for us to have meetings, clubs, meetings, clubs where kids can, we'll have teachers that will have different things that they're interested in. Kids can go participate in that, whether it's like chess club or something like that. Kids will have opportunities to make connections with other kids at CV9. Because honestly, when 9th graders come here, they're just all over the place. They really don't get to know the other kids in the middle school within their class. And there's something really beautiful about a class that comes together and they get to know each other. And then as they move to 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, that's really special when you're in 12th grade. So that's that piece there. So I'm going to move it to the counselors because I think I talked enough.
Thank you. I'm Ms. McGuire. I'm going to have last names A through L at CV9. I'm very excited to be going to the 9th grade academy. So ACEs is a course that students are currently in middle school with their counselors, and Ms. Bayshore and I will continue working with your students in ACEs. Some of the topics that we will be covering through our 10 classes together include high school transition, growth mindset, healthy relationships. We'll be doing some career-mandated activities through Naviance. We do a lot with Naviance in the high school. We'll kind of grow with the Naviance tools between 9th and 12th grade, so we will get them started in the 9th grade academy. And then we also work on self-advocacy and goal setting. So, course selection information. These are our 23 graduation requirements. Throughout the 4 years that your student will be in the Cumberland Valley High School, we will go through these credits with them. So we get them started at CV9. They will start with They need 4 credits in English, 3 credits in social studies, 3 credits in science, 3 credits in math, and 2 additional credits in science, math, and/or social studies. So they will have their choice with those 2 additional credits. They will need 1.5 credits in health and PE as well. So we will get them started with around 6.5 at the CV9. An important thing is that we do not hold students back. The important thing is that we have them accredit and gain credits, and once they get to 12th grade year, they have to continue until they hit that 23 credits. So we also count middle school credits. So if your student is currently in Algebra 1, Geometry, or Algebra 2, or in a foreign language in a year 1 or year 2 of that language, we do count that on our transcripts. It does not count towards GPA or class rank, but it will count towards that 23 credits needed for graduation. Here is a list of what the 9th grade courses will look like. Your student will take 9th grade English. Social studies will be world history. Science will be environmental science. Math will be at whatever level your student is currently needing to go to. Health and PE, your student will have a choice between 2 health and PE courses. They will have ACEs, which will be 0.25 credits. Freshman seminar will be another 0.25 credits. And then they'll choose 1 to 2 electives. So how many credits should your student be scheduling for the school year? 6.5 credits. So that's your 4 core classes, 1 to 2 electives, and then they'll have their choice of a PE course. All right, and I'm going to pass it off to Ms. Bayshore.
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Bayshore. I will be the counselor for students with the last names beginning M through Z. So each of our core classes have 3 different levels that we talk about a lot, and I think your students are probably pretty familiar with, but we're just going to go through it a little bit and how they can cater their schedule to their needs. So level 1 would probably be the most difficult and rigorous, fast-paced level. It includes our honors classes, our college and the high school classes would be a class you take in the high school that you can get college credit for, and our AP classes that are also kind of a college-level course. Level 2 is our college preparatory program, or our academic pace, and level 3 is a little slower pace with a little bit more in-class support. The nice thing about these levels is that if you have a student that's a really strong English student, does really well, really interested in that, they can take level 1 English, but maybe they struggle in math, they could take level 3 math. So you really cater the schedule to your students' abilities and needs. So these are the different expectations for each level, and we just, hopefully your teachers are going through these with your students, but we'd like to give you a little rundown of it. Level 1, that high level, that rigorous level, is going to be really fast-paced. They're going to start with summer work. Almost all of the level 1 classes have summer work, so your student's responsible to get that done in the summer before they even get into school. It's going to be a lot of independent work, so maybe take a book home and read it, come in, we'll talk about it, go home, write your essay, come in, we'll edit it. Math is really fast-paced. You just kind of have to be the math student that it just kind of clicks, you get it, because they're going to keep on moving really fast. Students should have a strong interest. I think we all know you do much better in classes that you have an interest in, and they should be willing to spend some time outside of school. Level 2 is still going to be pretty fast-paced. It's not going to have the summer work, and maybe not all that independent work, but it's still a pretty rigorous pace and a lot of independent work as well. Level 3 is going to have a little bit more support. So you might start a book in class, finish it at home. Start an essay in class, finish it at home. A little slower pace, but it'll still be the same curriculum, same books that they're reading, and material that they're covering. Each level gets a different weight. So this won't show up in the actual class grade, it shows up in the weighted GPA. So if your student would take AP World History and they got a 76 in it, it will go on their report card as a 76, it will go on their final transcript as a 76, but it will go into their weighted GPA as if it was an 86. So you see that extra weight in the weighted GPA. An honors course would be at 1.1, and every other course is weighted at 1.0. Can you take too much? Absolutely. This is one of our most common concerns, especially 9th grade year. As a counselor, a lot of times in the beginning of the year, I'm dealing with a lot of students who are just in over their head. It's exciting in March and April to be coming to the high school and picking your classes, and it's a fresh start, it's a clean slate, I'm gonna take all these challenging courses and I'm gonna do great. And then kind of when you get into it, it's a little overwhelming. We really encourage students to take a look at their overall schedule. So it's important for you as parents as well to help us out here. Sometimes teachers will recommend, they're thinking of your student for just English. Yes, your student can take this upper level English course, absolutely. But that teacher might not realize all the extracurricular activities your student does, or maybe they don't have a super high interest in that subject and they'd rather challenge themselves somewhere else. So we really need your help in taking a look at everything that they're taking. It is very common for ninth graders to come in. It's a lot of changes, a lot of new kids, a new building, and then a higher academic level, and it just becomes really difficult. We're gonna be supporting them in that freshman seminar and getting them some better study strategies and skills and self-advocacy skills. So we're really hoping that with a balanced schedule and that seminar that we can have a smoother transition. So really take a look at everything that your child's doing, talk to them about it, and make sure that they have that balanced schedule. The next few slides are just a couple things that are going to come up at the high school. PIAA is the organization that allows students to play high school sports. So if your student is an athlete, they have to be carrying 4 credits and passing 4 credits at all times to be eligible to play. They check that weekly and make sure that a student's passing 4 credits. If they are not allowed to play. The NCAA is the organization that looks over athletes playing Division I or Division II in college. So if you do have a strong athlete, thinking maybe down the road, I know it's early, but thinking they might want to play college sports, they do want to make sure they understand NCAA requirements. They're just slightly different than our graduation requirements, and they need to be passing those and doing those requirements to play sports in college. The Cumberland Perry Vocational Technical School, next year it's going to be called the CTC. We're very, very lucky that it's right around the corner. It's an amazing school. They have 22 shops. In the fall of next year, it's usually November, they will have an open house. And if anybody's considering it, or even if you've never been there, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's a beautiful school, and they're doing really amazing things over there. We're fortunate that it's around the corner. Your students come to the school for their core classes, and then they hop on a bus and they go there for their electives and their shop and social studies. So I think that's pretty nice and convenient. They don't miss out on anything here at the high school. We will do some VOTEC presentations in our ACES class next year. Again, they'll have the open house in the fall. These are just some terms that you are going to see. Hopefully you've heard of Naviance. Your students are using that in middle school, and we will use it a lot in high school as well. We do a lot of career artifacts in there, a lot of career searches and assessments. We do a personality assessment. We do the Myers-Briggs, if you've done that. We do the Holland's Code, a career profiler. And with every assessment, it tells them their skills and then kind of a set of careers that they might be interested in. And there's a lot of career information in that, and we will use that in ACES. And then when it comes time for college application process, we use Naviance quite a bit. So they do want to make sure that they're familiar with it and using it. The PSAT 10 and the PSAT 11, those are practice tests for the SATs and the ACTs. Those will come up along the way in high school. And then the SAT and the ACTs are college entrance exams. We have a lot of internships and job shadows. So there's really, really cool stuff going on. And we just keep getting more and more each year of different experiences for your student. You know, sometimes they're leaving school and going to hospitals. We have engineering opportunities, just all sorts of different creative things that they can go out and do. Skyward, hopefully you're familiar with that. You're going to be doing some of your course requests on Skyward, your grading and information system. And then I'm hoping everybody's comfortable with Schoology at this point after this year. At the high school, we use it quite a bit for announcements, information, and their classes. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Robinson, talk a little bit about how you're going to select your courses.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Brian Robinson. I'm Associate Principal at the high school, and it's my job to lead the effort to take all of the course requests of all the students and match them with the programs and resources that we have at the high school. Normally it's just one building, but this year we get to do 3 buildings, CV9, CV High School, and of course, CVVA. This is, in broad strokes, the overview of our scheduling process. I know, it's very simple. I don't even know why I have this job. But normally, it's a year-long process. This year, we're going to do it in a little bit of a condensed fashion. We prepare for the schedule. We have teacher course recommendations, which is occurring right now. We then have course selection by students and families. We have the schedule construction, and then we have conflict resolution, where the counselors are working on student schedules that can't be met the first time through. So I'd like to briefly go over the steps with you because we believe it's really important that all stakeholders, administration, counselors, teachers, parents, and students understand the scheduling process, because that really allows you to make the best decisions for your students and understand some of the parameters that we're operating under and some of the rationale for the decisions that we have to make. So teacher recommendations are happening right now. Hopefully your students' teachers are having conversations with them. Teachers in many courses are making a course recommendation for your student, and those course recommendations, really 98% of them, are going to go directly into your student's schedule and are the courses that your students will be sitting in next year. You will be able to see those recommendations once we open up the portal in Skyward, which we're hoping to do next week. It is important to note that the teachers are the best equipped people to make those course recommendations for your children. They know your students' skills and aptitudes, they understand their course, and most importantly for scheduling, they understand where that course lies in sequence and how the next courses may be for your students. And administration supports the teachers. We spend a lot of time educating the teachers about the process. Department leaders spend a lot of time with teachers describing curriculum because we know that right now is the most important time to make this course, to make these course recommendations and make the best ones possible. So tentatively, we're hoping that next week we'll be able to take those probably 15,000 course requests and upload them into Skyward so that parents and students through the Skyward portal, and only the Skyward portal, will be able to go in and do two things. Number one, they're going to be able to view the course recommendations that were put in by teachers as well as administration. And number two, probably more importantly, students and parents will be able to round out the rest of those course requests from a menu of choices. Course requests from students and parents can be added and deleted during that window, but please note that the course requests that are inserted by teachers and administration are not able to be changed. So don't be surprised when you get in and you can't delete it. So after that process, as I mentioned before, there's schedule construction. That's where we take the then 25,000 course requests, give them to our department leaders, who then match up all those course requests with the teachers and the programs and start to actually design the number of sections for each course. And we really try to start to create a master schedule that's going to meet the needs of all of the students and all of our programs. We then take that master schedule and we build it. We run students through, fine-tune it to the best of our abilities until eventually we do seat students in those sections. At that point, if we're at 70, 75, maybe 80% for the counselors, student schedules are met. The counselors then spend a good bit of time working with the other 20% of the students, trying to make sure that their schedules are able to be built. So why are we explaining this to you? There's not a quiz. It's because of one-word prioritization. We know that our schedule process is asking parents and students to start to prioritize. I had a conversation with my own daughter the other night. She came home from meeting with teachers and said, "Dad, I want to take my 4 courses. I want to take a world language, I want to take a music, and I want to take this elective, I want to take that elective, and why can't I do it?" I said, because you can't. We have to prioritize for you what works best with your skills and your and the experiences that you want, because we simply don't have the resources to offer more than that to all of our students, because that is not going to create a fair schedule for everyone. Once we start designating those teaching resources and creating specific sections, and we start to feed in those thousands and thousands of requests, we start to have a really fine balance. And one or two changes here and there is not really going to make a big difference, but one or two changes in every single one of our 1,500 sections, you start to have a real imbalance that starts to impact the educational opportunities that all of your students are having, and the opportunities our teachers have to teach when they start to have imbalanced sections. The other piece that is really important to understand, and is something that we want to make sure we're really clear about, is that families who are requesting a 7th and an 8th credit beyond those maximums, because of our resources, you're likely taking a 5th or 6th seat away from your neighbor. And so that's why when we say there are credit limits, we mean there are credit limits, and we're going to say no because it's our job to ensure a fair and equal schedule for all of our students across all of our buildings based on the resources that we have. Okay, so now that fun part is over. I wanted to give you a brief overview of the process that you're going to be going through next week. If you turn your packet, there is a little 2-pager. Again, we just want to expose you to this process. Next week, when we open the portal, we will send this out that has live links with it. There's a very thrilling and exciting 10 to 11 minute video that's going to sound a lot like the voice you're hearing right now. It's actually a highly paid actor who does voiceovers. About the process, it will take you through it in all details, but really what's going to happen is you're going to go into this Skyward portal and click on one of those tiles like you do for all the other requests that we have for you. And depending on the building that your child is going into, so for all of us here tonight, it's either CV9 or CVVA, some of the experiences will be the same and some of them will be a little bit different. What will be the same for everyone is that you will see the courses that have been selected for your student by teachers and administration. You will see that there's a maximum credit count in the upper right-hand corner. That doesn't change. And then you'll see the total credits requested, and that will be a running total that will change as you or your students enter and subtract other courses, because of course these are not able to be changed by you. So what will be the same for everyone is that it's one screen, so it's not very complicated. It's one screen. On the right are the courses that are requested. On the left is the menu, and that will be a little bit different depending on what building you're going into, because the available courses to your student will be based on if they're going to CVVA or CV9. You can search the courses by course name, by course number, if you're a nerd like me, or by department. And then you can see there's a little add button there. Click on the course you want to add. Add updates the credits. If you make a mistake or don't like it, click on it, remove, and it removes. There is an option for alternates, and alternates are really just a list for the counselor to see should they need to get into your schedule and take a look. It's optional to select up to 2 credits worth of alternates, but the counselors have said if there's an issue with the student's schedule, they're going to reach out to the families. But we did want to make sure that you knew that was an option. It doesn't do anything automatic, so if you put in French 3 and you don't get it and your alternate is culinary, it's not going to automatically put in culinary. But that information is there for a counselor to at least reference and start a conversation, or even check ahead and say, oh yeah, JRTC is available. All right, the remove button, self-explanatory. All right, the last part is there's no save button, but there's a submit course request button. When I did it myself when I created the video for the professional actor to do, I clicked the submit course request and I expected like some notice or lights, and nothing happened. So please don't be alarmed when you click submit course request and nothing happens except that the button disappears. That's what happens. So During the window of availability, you can actually submit course requests, go have a conversation, log back in, and you can edit those course requests the whole time. Every time you make a change, you'll just see the Submit Course Request button turn back on. So just don't be alarmed when nothing exciting happens. When the window is over, which we will communicate the day and time of that, then that tile will close, and that's when we'll take all those course requests and actually begin the process of building the student schedules. All right. Ooh, right on schedule. So that's the end of our formal presentation. There is one more piece that I'd like to highlight in your pamphlet, which is the group of people who are ready, willing, and eager to answer your questions. We're very fortunate that we have lots of leaders here in the district. If you have a question about the schedule process, then you can direct it to me, Brian Robinson. If you have a question about the programming at CV9, you can direct it to Mr. Martin. If you have a question about specific course requests by a teacher, we would ask that you ask the teacher. If you still have questions after asking the teacher, we'd ask that you reach out to the department leader, supervisor, and of course, you can always reach out to your student's current counselor. If you have questions about any of our programming in general, or especially compliments about me, you can direct them to Dr. Malinowski, the principal. But we did want to make sure that there's time for you. If you want to move through the building, we have our department leaders in various places. For those of you who have been here before or haven't, we want to make it simple. So those are the locations, and here's the map, same one that's in your hand. If you walk out of the Performing Arts Center and take a left, we have folks along that long hallway, and at the very end, if you take a left and head up into the academic wing, the rest of the folks are up there. So we're going to keep the sessions relatively short, about 10 minutes. We'll dismiss by PA to keep people moving and give parents the opportunity to visit different departments. We do ask that you keep your questions general. This is not a time to ask about your specific student situation. That's not fair for the other parents who are here who may want information, but all the department leaders' contact information is on your sheet. It's also outside the door of each of the rooms. It's also on our website. We're not hiding. We just know this is the night that we're not going to take specific questions. So thank you very much for coming out, and I hope everyone has a great evening. Hold your applause till now.